I'm going to talk about how I made my first million before I was even legally allowed to drink. Study up, pay attention. What's up, Tim Sykes, millionaire mentor and trader here, answering your questions. A lot of people want to get rich. A lot of people ask me, how did you make your first million? You know, like now I've made several million, but how did I make my first? Long story short, I got started at the right place, right time. I started in 1998, 1999. The stock market was going crazy. I made a lot of money. But I also made more money in the year 2000 and 2001 when the stock market was crashing. I was profiting from a bear market. I learned short selling. But in 1998, 1999, I was going long, and then 2000, 2001, I learned shorting, and I profited that way. It was the same kind of stocks. It was a pump and dump type pattern, and I just tried to trade both sides. Let me ask you a question. Which do you like better, going long or going short? There's no one right answer. Everyone's different, but you have to learn what you're good at. The best traders that I know can go long and go short. I've done it. I've made millions going long and going short. I prefer going long in this moment because right now I think there's a lot of shorts, a lot of newbies who are shorting. The short squeezes are getting kind of crazy. But back to my first million, I made roughly $800,000 just going long, pump and dumps as they were being pumped. And back in 98, 99, 2000, I didn't know what pump and dumps were. No one did. There was no exposés back then. I recognized the pattern that these companies would spike up on day two after their first big green day. And I still use this pattern, still works 20 years later. But back then, it was so amazing because I was like, how is this working every single time? Like my win rate was like 90, 95% on these plays. And I would basically just buy the stock at 3:50, 3:55 p.m. Eastern before the market closed and sell the next day at 9:30, 9:35 a.m. Eastern and sell into a gap up, sell into a morning spike. Why did they go up so much on day two? Well, first of all, I spotted the companies because they were percent gainers. This is the same research process that I use today. This is why we designed the stocks to trade software around this key indicator. Click the link just below. I'm going to give you a special offer on stocks to trade. You have to find stocks that are already moving, and that way you can kind of just jump on the train that's already going. You don't want to try to find penny stocks that aren't moving, penny stocks that have good technologies or good stories that are like diamonds in the rough. You don't want that. For me, a high odds pattern is a stock that's already moving. And back in 98, 99, all I did was buy big percent gainers and sell the next day. Why did they work so well? Well, back then we didn't know why. I just, saw it happening. In 2000, 2001, when the market crashed, articles began coming out about boiler rooms. So I was basically buying these boiler room stocks without knowing that they were boiler room stocks, but I would ride the wave up. Why did they gap up? Why did they morning spike the next day? Because boiler rooms would call the naive financial people, like people with no financial experience, and they would pitch them these penny stocks around dinner time. That was when the people were home. So at around 5:30, 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. Eastern, they would get a phone call. And then the financially naive people would put in buy orders right at the open the next day, and that would cause a gap up and or a morning spike. And I just did the same pattern over and over and over again. Another favorite pattern of mine was not just boiler room stocks, but when companies added .com to their name. I remember I bought this company, Sportsman's Guide Inc. They sell camping gear online, and they changed their name to sportsmansguide.com. They were going to sell camping gear online through e-commerce. And back then, the internet was just beginning. This was big news. And the stock tripled. I took my 10, 20, 30% gains. I usually take profits too soon. To this day, I still do. But I would start buying these companies that added .coms to their name. They wouldn't spike all on day two like the pump and dumps. They would sometimes spike for 3, 4, even 5 days as people started to get excited about, oh, we can sell online. This is a whole new world. And I would buy .com after .com company, and they would just keep spiking. 200, 300, 400, 500%, and I would take my 20, 30, 40% gains along the way. Two very simple strategies that I repeated again and again and again. And I would make 1,000, 2,000 at a time Very rarely would I lose, and over time, it added up to roughly $1 million in just a few years. So that stuff still works today. It's just not exact. You know, the boiler rooms have been shut down. Now there's a lot of email blasts. The dot-coms, it's no longer new. Now, when a stock spikes, they're getting into like Bitcoin or, you know, marijuana or CBD. So look for the hot sector, look for trends, look for a process and pattern that repeats again and again. That's my best advice. But leave a comment below. Let me know if you like long or short, because with all of this hype, when a stock goes up 300, 500, 1,000%, especially penny stocks, they usually come back down later on too. So you can ride them up or ride them down or do both. But there's pretty good money, not huge money, but there is predictable money in this kind of pump and dump pattern if you do it legally, if you do it honestly, and you're just reading the charts and price action. Cheers. Hey, Tim Sykes, millionaire mentor and trader. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope that they help you. I want to share everything that I've learned over the years. You can check out more videos right over there, and also click subscribe so that you can watch all of these videos, get that knowledge, and become my next millionaire student.